Welcome to County Report this week. I'm Lorna Virgili and thank you for watching. Coming up in the next half hour, a multi-family complex in White Oak is under the county's microscope. The Enclave Apartments face code inspections. Plus, this local nonprofit is aiming at ending poverty, not only in the county, but outside its borders as well. And later, a group of MCPS students visited Kit Museum. We will show you what they built during this field trip. But first, County Executive Marc Elrich hosted the first of 5 FY20 Operating Budget Forums. It was a packed house at the Silver Spring Civic Center, and county residents got to give input on the $5.1 billion budget. It was a warm welcome for new County Executive Marc Elrich at the Silver Spring Civic Center as he hosted his first operating budget. With a preamble that as of today, there is an approximate $104 million deficit, the executive described what will be his proposed FY20 budget as conservative.
We don't know right now how much we're going to be getting in state revenues. We haven't had our big tax distribution, which sadly comes also at March, early on, just about the time we're supposed to submit our budget. And how much money we see ourselves getting in tax revenues obviously is going to impact whether we have a budget that's kind of stable like what we're looking at right now, whether there's not enough money and we have to look at cuts, or whether there's more money and it opens up opportunities to do some things that we're not able to do right now.
The $5.1 billion budget focuses on 7 priorities that range from thriving youth and families to effective and sustainable government. With 60% of revenues coming from property and income taxes, the idea that there will not be a property tax increase, a goal to reach budgeted reserves of 10%, and other additional expenses, the fiscal climate seems somehow challenging.
FY20, while resources did increase, our obligations for expenditures increased even further, which is leading to about a $104 million gap just to start the year. So what is contributing to this gap? As I referred to before, we have required costs such as debt service, reserves, retiree health costs, and MOE for colleges and schools. But the gap is actually even higher than that because there are a host of other items that we know we're going to have additional costs for, such as labor agreements, benefit costs, operating costs for new facilities that are opening.
County residents came out to advocate for a wide range of programs and services.
And I want to know how you are going to increase funding to code inspection so that you can successfully complete the accelerated inspections that were in Bill 1950.
Code inspections are paid for by fees, and as we found out a couple of years ago, we were collecting fees and we weren't using them for code inspection. So now we're collecting fees and using them for code inspection, and so when we determine if we need more inspectors, we'll make adjustments in the fees to pay for the inspectors so it doesn't impact on the operating budget.
Can you speak to your commitment to support Vision Zero, the Bicycle Master Plan, and the Pedestrian Master Plan? And thank you.
The hardest thing is the Bicycle Master Plan because fully implemented, it's incredibly expensive and it competes with a lot of other programs. And I think all of us know that we're going to go down that path, but that's going to be, a slower path in some ways. We'll bite off the pieces we can bite off.
For more information on the operating budget, visit montgomerycountymd.gov/open-budget. County Executive Marc Elrich will continue hosting operating budget forums throughout the county up until February 4th. These forums serve for residents to get information about the priorities taken into consideration while preparing the budget, and also for county residents to give input directly to the county executive. All forums begin at 7 p.m. and they will be hosted in Germantown, Silver Spring, and Bethesda. There will be a last forum on February 11th that will be interactive, and it is hosted by the Office of Management and Budget at the Executive Office Building. Participants are encouraged to bring electronic devices such as laptops, smartphones, and tablets. Officials have ordered the inspection of every unit at the Enclave apartment complex in Silver Spring. This after numerous code violations have been uncovered recently. Susan Kennedy has the story.
Last September, the county's Department of Housing and Community Affairs inspected 262 of the 1,119 units at the Enclave apartment complex in Silver Spring. There were 367 violations, which prompted county officials to step up those inspections to check every unit at the complex.
So this is the area that we were discussing.
Raul Ratcliffe has lived at the Enclave for 4 years. His neighbor and friend Debbie for more than a decade. When visiting her last fall, he noticed mold along the wall and baseboard. When he pulled back the carpet, more mold. That's when they called the management company for help, but the response was marginal at best.
The tenant here was told that the padding was replaced and that the mold was treated. And as you can see, the carpet and the mold still in the carpet, you can see even further in the wood. This is something that's been causing a lot of respiratory issues for the tenant and for her granddaughter.
The list of violations at the Enclave range from mold to rat infestation, broken appliances, leaking sinks, chipping paint, and a lack of smoke detectors.
Anybody who's in an apartment full of mold like this should be relocated to a...
Councilmember Tom Hucker represents the residents who live at the Enclave. After the initial inspection last year, he wrote the county's Department of Housing and Community Affairs asking that all the apartments at the Enclave be inspected. County Executive Marc Elrich has now backed up that request.
I'm very grateful to the county exec that he ordered the housing department to make all these inspections. We're going to look at those reports and tabulate all those violations, and then they're going to have a conversation with the management company about remediating them. As Raul was explaining, the management company has a very bad history of just doing superficial, first ignoring the problem, and then once they respond, doing just superficial repairs. I'm going to do everything I can to push the housing department and the county executive to really crack down on these folks and find them and make sure they bring this place up to code.
Will Jawando is a member of the Council's Planning, Housing, and Economic Development Committee. He says he wants to be an advocate to ensure the safety of all the residents who live at the complex.
I grew up in a poorly maintained apartment here in Montgomery County, and seeing and hearing from the stories from the folks in the Enclave really bothered me. Everyone in Montgomery County, everyone in the country should have access to a safe, habitable place to live. We're really going to step up our review of the code enforcement in the county. I plan on looking into it on the Planning, Housing, and Economic Development Committee, which I sit on, and we're going to make sure we get to the bottom of this.
Last year, there were 118 complaints about conditions at the apartments, compared with 41 between the years 2014 and 2018. Officials attribute that surge to a new bill implemented last year that steps up inspections of multifamily apartments.
We're working with the Montgomery County Renters Alliance, which the county helped set up and helps to fund, to give renters an organized voice, because Raul or Debbie, the owner of this apartment, tenant in this apartment, don't have that much clout by themselves against a huge management company with hundreds of properties. What they have is, if we can help them build a collective voice, they're going to get their issues addressed much sooner.
Raul Ratcliffe and other residents of the Enclave say they are not looking to create conflict. They just want to live in a safe, healthy environment.
This is about how do we repair what's been going on? How do we become more engaged and help you do a better job? Because we live here. We have the incentive to want to be involved, to do things, to make things better.
The county has relaunched the Renters Have Rights campaign. Renters are encouraged to contact DHCA to mediate conflicts or file anonymous complaints. To learn more about your rights as a renter, call 311. In Silver Spring, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
This week on the county's Spanish language radio show, we talked with Matt Losak, Director of the Renters Alliance, about the county's ongoing campaign to protect tenants' rights. County Executive Marc Elrich has directed the Department of Housing to ask apartment building owners and managers of changes in county housing code requirements so they can inform tenants about their protections and responsibilities.
This law isn't all of the rights that they have, but it is some critical ones. They can be offered a 2-year lease every time their lease is renewed. They have the right to organize and to utilize the space in the apartment complex free at once a month that they didn't have before. They should receive a new lease that has a cover sheet that explains some of their basic rights, and that code enforcement and the Office of Landlord and Tenant Affairs are available at all times to receive complaints about breaches of lease or about quality conditions in the building.
Coming up on County Report this week, County Executive Marc Elrich faces members of the media in a roundtable conversation. And we feature a local nonprofit that is helping those in need with the goal of ending poverty. County Report this week. We'll be right back.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC 311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going. Recycle more now.
Welcome back to County Report this week. I'm Lorna Virgili. County Executive Marc Elrich hosted a first media roundtable to discuss his vision and agenda for the county. Members of the media had the opportunity to ask questions and engage with executive.
We are going to start the work of restructuring once we get past this budget. It's very difficult, to walk in the door in December and expect that you're going to restructure the county government in the next month or two. If it was that easy, somebody would have done it a long time ago. And so once we're past the budget and we don't have to focus on delivering a document to the council, they'll have several months of fun dealing with our document. We can focus on the work that we're going to be doing, working with the workforce to look at jobs in the county. What are the jobs that are critical for achieving our mission? What are jobs we think we can consolidate or replace? We're going to be looking to move people to positions that are made available via attrition so that we accomplish the shrinkage that we hope to achieve without actually laying people off.
The council is back from its winter recess with a full agenda, including the introduction of the first bill of the new year by Council Member Will Jawando. The measure would require an independent investigation in the case of an officer-involved death.
The two main goals of this are making sure that we have trust and transparency with our law enforcement community. And as I said in my opening remarks, we have a great law enforcement community that are doing great work. But when you have these unfortunate tragedies like the case of Robert White, when someone's unarmed black man is killed, anyone, but killed in our community by a police officer, it's important, if you're going to maintain that trust, that people have confidence that there's an independent investigation. You shouldn't be investigating yourself, and that's the first thing in this bill. Right now, when Montgomery County Police respond to these incidences, they are the ones talking to witnesses, they're the ones processing the evidence. So we need to remove the opportunity for bias or even the perception, and that's important. And then the second part is after a decision is made whether to prosecute or not, that there's a report that's given to the public to say why. Because people have questions about what happened and why. And so independence and transparency are the key tenets here, and it'll improve and complement what we're already doing on the state's attorney's side, who already farm out that decision and swap with Howard County to assess and kind of review the information that our police officers collect and send over to them. So this will, I think, complement that. It's a national best practice. President Obama's 21st Century Policing Task Force recommended independence in these investigations, and that's what we're really trying to do. Wisconsin does this statewide. There's other states and counties that have considered it, but I think we can really be a leader in this regard.
A Silver Spring nonprofit is trying to end poverty, not just in Montgomery County, but everywhere. My MC Media has the story.
Armel Lalico was living in Tacoma Park with her family unsure of what she would do. She got a flyer about a wider circle, and it changed her life.
I learned a lot of skills that actually helped me to be more confident when I go to the interviews, because now I can actually go and do interviews without even having fear or anything. I'm more confident in myself, and I did learn a lot of skills that are really helpful.
Now she works at the front desk at Courtyard Marriott in Chevy Chase. A shorter commute, which means more time for her 4 children. She's one of the success stories of A Wider Circle, a Silver Spring organization that wants to end poverty, period. And poverty, according to founder Marc Elrich, is more than a fact of life, it's a crisis.
I think that this crisis is unfortunately a normalized part of America. I've heard leaders in different sectors say, America is very diverse. There are people of wealth and there are people in poverty. And I have to stop them right there and say, poverty has nothing to do with diversity and vice versa. Diversity is beautiful. Poverty is ugly and it's fatal. And so we need to look at it like that crisis.
An outgrowth of a class he taught at American University, A Wider Circle has grown to include 30,000 volunteers who have racked up 210,000 hours of volunteer work. They have delivered about $14 million worth of possessions to people who have almost nothing.
5 possessions for some people, and a glass is a possession. A pencil is a possession. A pot with water in it is a possession. And so when you think about having 5 to 10 possessions and 5 to 10 kids or 3 kids or even just one person living in that kind of life, that is not okay. That's not the life that any of us would accept for our kids.
Elrich calls it the atrocity of poverty, and his organization fights poverty in practical ways. It provides mattresses for people emerging from homelessness, furniture for people who finally get stable housing, coaching for people looking for better jobs, and business wear so people can look professional for job interviews. And for Lelika, A Wider Circle helped her see the gifts she already possessed.
For me, it did give me the confidence that I have today. I'm really proud of myself.
In Silver Spring, this is Doug Tallman reporting for County Report This Week.
Coming up next on County Report This Week, the city of Rockville is taking action to eradicate opioid addiction. And it was an all-hands-on activity for a group of students at Kid Museum. Stay with us, County Report This Week. We'll be right back.
We all know the stress of driving into downtown Silver Spring and the district, but thanks to Ride On, I don't have to worry anymore. Route 129 is a new limited-stop bus route running both directions along the US 29 corridor, from Burtonsville Park and Ride to the Paul Serene Silver Spring Transit Center. There are even free, convenient park and ride lots along the route. Now my commute is relaxing. Plus I'm helping get cars off the road, reducing congestion and my commute time.
Ride On. Get there faster.
Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Virgili. Thanks to a partnership with Kid Museum, students at 2 Title I schools had the opportunity to learn what is a robot. Students built their own robots and showcased them at an event where MCPS TV was present to bring us the story.
So thank you, Kid Museum, for helping our students to learn about programming and 3D.
Kemp Mill Elementary and Sergeant Shriver Elementary were the recipients of a recent partnership between the Kid Museum of Bethesda and MCPS. Students at these 2 Title I schools participated in a program that allowed them to build robots, write the code, and program them. Staff from the Kid Museum visited the schools, and students also visited the Kid Museum to work on their projects. Their efforts were celebrated at a special event at Kemp Mill.
They feel so proud of how they have taken nothing and created a robot. They have put together the code, they have created the physical features, they have connected it to the motors. They put it all together themselves.
So we built a dog that is able to bark, and it's made out of cardboard. So there's a distance sensor. When you get in between 8 centimeters of it, then it will bark and it will wag its tail.
During the showcase, 3rd grade students shared their robots with all assembled.
We connected these wires to this.
Working with Kid Museum has just provided so many opportunities that they wouldn't normally encounter in their day-to-day lives. And so we feel extremely lucky and grateful to be working with them this year.
I've seen so much joy, especially today. I think that these kids are amazingly special. They they have taken this opportunity, both the kids and the teachers here, and really turned it into something amazing. So the teachers here especially have gone above and beyond. They had the kids back at school writing reports about the robots, and they just have really made a lot of connections back to the classroom. It's been so exciting to see that.
Learn that coding can change your life. It can make you smarter. You can learn more. You can grow to be smarter and accomplish things in your life and follow your dreams.
Rockville joins in the fight against the opioid crisis. Rockville 11's Kathy Dantzler has more on the city's awareness campaign.
In the last 2 years, more than 11 million people have misused prescription opioid drugs, and over 40,000 people have died from opioid overdoses. Unfortunately, Rockville is not immune to this crisis, and that's why the city wants to take steps to fight back. This year, the city is sponsoring an awareness campaign, Rockville Goes Purple. And since collaboration is essential for success in prevention, we're kicking off our campaign with a special event on March 7th with former professional basketball player and recovery advocate Chris Herron. Herron founded the Herron Project, which is a proven leader of advocacy for individuals, families, and even communities dealing with this growing epidemic. So get informed and be inspired on March 7th at 7 p.m. at the F. Scott Fitzgerald Theater. Rockville will continue its efforts throughout the year that will include an expert panel discussion and even training on how to respond to an opioid overdose. Remember, we're all in this together. For County Report This Week, I'm Kathy Dantzler.
The county's Department of Health and Human Services is offering 2 free training sessions on the medication used to reverse the effects of opioid overdose. If you or someone you know is concerned about a friend or family member with an opioid addiction, these are opportunities to learn about reducing opioid overdoses. Naloxone is a prescribed medication that reverses the effects and saves lives. The free training will be offered in late January and then in mid-February, and participants receive a free kit. It is required to register for the training by sending an email to Overdose Response Program at montgomerycountymd.gov or by calling 240-777-1836. Coming up on County Report This Week, we take you to the basketball court at Montgomery College. Plus, the county is still picking up and recycling Christmas trees. If you haven't yet, don't forget to recycle the natural trees. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Discover untold stories that reveal a Montgomery County you may not know. Unveil facets of our past that shape our community today. Join historians, archaeologists, civic leaders, and people like yourself at the Montgomery County History Conference this January at Montgomery College Germantown campus. For tickets, visit montgomeryhistory.org.
County residents are required by law to clear sidewalks in front of and alongside their properties within 24 hours of the end of a snowstorm. Working together, Montgomery County can stay safe and warm this winter. Good neighbors clear their sidewalks of ice and snow. For more information, call 311 or go to montgomerycountymd.gov/safe sidewalks.
Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Virgili. Montgomery College's men's and women's basketball teams have been busy at the court. Here's a recap of how they're playing.
Both MC Raptor basketball teams came into this season knowing full well that they had a challenge on their hands. Not only were they playing their first season at a higher level, MC is now D2 after decades as a D3 program. But both teams were also very young and inexperienced. The women's team returned just 3 players from last year's team that won the Region 20 championship and advanced to nationals. The Raptors are 9-7 overall so far and 4-3 in Maryland JUCO. They've had some outstanding wins, but as befitting a young team that's still learning how to play together, they've had some frustrating losses as well. 3 outstanding freshmen are leading the way. Jordan Odom leads all scorers with 16 a game and is tied for the team lead in steals. Nusaiba Rashad is right behind, averaging a double-double, 14.8 points and an outstanding 13.8 rebounds, while guard Alexis Mack adds 11.7 points and is tied with Odom for the team lead in steals. Head coach Tarla Gasquet likes this team and is confident that they will continue to improve the rest of the way. Head coach Keith Bird's men's team is also very young. They returned just 2 players from last year's team that also won regions and competed in the national tournament. The Raptors have battled injuries and inexperience, but are sitting at 12-4 overall and 5-3 in Maryland JUCO. They've had their share of impressive wins too over Columbus State and Mercyhurst. That last win gave them the championship of the Raptors Holiday Tournament. Like the women, 3 freshmen are leading the way. Vince Rose is putting up 18.9 points a game and leads in assists. 3-point threat Paul Garcia is averaging 14.1 points a game, and Charlie Ali is adding 10.1 points. The Raptors have been on a nice roll lately, taking 7 of their last 9, and they hope to keep that going for the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs. For County Report this week from Montgomery College, I'm Michael Brown.
With the holidays over, we're still reminding you to recycle cut Christmas trees. Just place the tree at the curb on your regular recycling collection day. Make sure that all of the ornaments, lights, and stands are removed from the tree. The Shady Grove Recycling Center turns those Christmas trees into mulch. My MC Media has more.
This Christmas season has passed, so it's time to turn Yuletide trees into mulch. The Shady Grove Recycling Center will grind up 25,000 cubic yards of Christmas trees. That mulch then gets hauled away by Grant County Mulch. It doesn't take long for that Fraser fir or that Scotch pine to get ground into so much mulch. 10 cubic yards, the size of that bucket in the front end loaders they use, can be ground up in 45 seconds. From the Shady Grove Recycling Center, this is Doug Tallman reporting for County Report This Week.
For more information on recycling, visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling. We're still in the middle of winter season, but our recreation department is already thinking summertime. Summer camp registration began on January 22nd. As usual, hundreds of fun and exciting camps that promote active and healthy lifestyles for children are offered for the summer. Registration can be done by visiting activemontgomery.org. Also, Recreation is hosting a summer camp fair on January 26 from noon until 3 p.m. at the North Potomac Community Recreation Center. This is an opportunity to meet recreation staff and instructors, learn about financial aid, and register for summer camps. The Summer Camp Fair is designed to showcase the wide range of summer camps offered by the county. Of course, it is free and open to the public. And now it's time to meet our pet of the week. Here we have Kitty Marquez. She's an 11-year-old Lynx Siamese mix. She came into the shelter in pretty bad shape, and through it all, always remained in good spirits and nice to everyone who came near her. She loves cheek rubs and lots of attention. She's an old soul but doesn't know it. As a Purple Care participant sponsored by MacPaw, her adoption fees are waived. Let's get her into her own perfect forever home and make her year. Please call the Montgomery County Animal Services and Adoption Center at 240-773-5900 or visit her on the web at montgomerycountymd.gov/ASD. And with that, we close this edition of County Report This Week. Remember to like us on Facebook and to join us again at this time every week for a look at what's going on inside Montgomery County. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for watching.